There is a tiny window in the gardening calendar that most people completely sleep through. It opens in March, it closes fast, and if you miss it, you'll spend the entire summer playing catch-up while everyone else is harvesting armfuls of fresh food from their backyard. I'm about to show you 5 crops that need your attention right now. Not April, not May, now. And I'm starting with one that 90% of gardeners have never even tried, but once you taste it, you'll wonder how you ever lived without it. Then we'll work our way through 4 more essentials, ending with the single most important crop you can start this month, the one that separates serious growers from wishful thinkers. Oh, and along the way, I'll explain why some experienced gardeners are quietly worried that certain seed varieties might not stay easy to find forever. That part is important. Quick thing before we jump in. If you're the kind of person who gets excited about growing real food with your own hands, you're in the right place. Tap that subscribe button, leave a like, and stick around until the end because that final crop, number 5, comes with a tip that could save your entire growing season. Let's go. This is Grow with Lizzy, and March waits for nobody. I am starting with the one nobody sees coming, kohlrabi. Kohlrabi. Most people have never grown it. Many have never even heard of it. And honestly, that's a tragedy, because this strange-looking vegetable might be the most underrated crop on the entire planet. Imagine a little green or purple globe sitting right on top of the soil, leaves shooting out in every direction like a cartoon explosion. It looks like something from another world. Your kids will think it's hilarious. Your neighbors will lean over the fence and squint at it. What on earth is that thing? And then you'll slice one open, take a bite, and everything changes. Kohlrabi tastes like the crunchiest, sweetest, freshest thing you've ever put in your mouth. Picture the tender heart of a broccoli stem mixed with a crisp apple. You can eat it raw with a little sprinkle of salt. You can roast it with olive oil until the edges turn golden. You can shred it into a slaw that will genuinely make people ask for the recipe. Nutritionally, loaded. Vitamin C, fiber, potassium, it's the kind of food your body actually thanks you for eating. So why am I telling you to start it now in March? 2 reasons. First, kohlrabi grows shockingly fast. We're talking seed to harvest in about 6 to 8 weeks. Start it in March, and you could be eating it before some people have even finished planning their gardens. That speed is a superpower. Second, and this is the strategic part, kohlrabi belongs to the brassica family, same family as cabbage, broccoli, and kale. And brassicas have an enemy, flea beetles. These are tiny jumping insects that attack young plants and chew hundreds of pinholes through the leaves. They're especially brutal when seedlings are small and tender and defenseless. Here's how you outsmart them. Start your kohlrabi seeds indoors in plug trays. A plug tray is just a tray divided into little individual cells, like an ice cube tray for plants. Drop a seed into each cell, push it down about ½ inch, cover it lightly, and keep the soil moist. Put the trays somewhere sheltered. A windowsill, a porch, a greenhouse if you've got one. By the time those seedlings are big enough to plant outside, they'll be sturdy, strong, ready to shrug off a few flea beetles like it's nothing. Growing kohlrabi is also a small act of rebellion. In a world where grocery stores offer the same 5 vegetables everywhere you look, growing something unusual protects biodiversity. It keeps rare and forgotten crops alive. And honestly, it makes gardening a whole lot more fun. Try it this March, I dare you. All right, from something unusual to something timeless, let's talk about peas. There is a reason people have grown peas for thousands of years, long before supermarkets existed, long before refrigerators, long before anyone had a YouTube channel about gardening. Humans were planting peas, watching them climb toward the sky, and popping those little green gems straight into their mouths. And here's the beautiful thing about peas. They actually like cold weather. While most crops are hiding indoors waiting for warmth, peas are out there flexing. They can handle frost. They can handle chilly mornings. March doesn't scare them one bit. But, and this is a big but, pea seeds have enemies waiting for them in the soil. Mice think pea seeds are a 5-star meal. Slugs treat them like an all-you-can-eat buffet. And cold, waterlogged soil can rot them before they even get a chance to sprout. It's rough out there for a little pea seed. So here's the move. Start them in plug trays. Same idea as the kohlrabi. 1 or 2 seeds per cell, pushed down about an inch, covered up, watered gently. Keep them sheltered. Within a week, sometimes even less, you'll see something magical happen. A little pale shoot pushes through the soil. It uncurls slowly, reaching upward, looking for something to grab onto. Pea shoots are some of the most beautiful things in gardening. They look like tiny green question marks reaching toward the light. Now, here's a tip that will save you a ton of garden space. Choose climbing varieties. Bush peas are fine, but climbing peas are extraordinary. Give them a trellis, a wooden frame, a fence, even a teepee made of bamboo sticks, and they'll scale it like little green mountaineers. Their tendrils wrap around anything they can find. They pull themselves upward, inch by inch, until they're covered in white or purple flowers that eventually become pods full of sweet, crunchy peas. The vertical growing means you get a massive harvest from a tiny patch of ground. It's genius, really. Nature's own space-saving hack. And the flavor? Let me put it this way. A fresh pea picked straight from the vine on a sunny afternoon is one of the purest joys in life. Sweet like candy, bright, alive. Nothing in any store, on any shelf, anywhere in the world compares to that moment. Start your peas in March. Your taste buds will write you a thank you letter in June. Now let's go underground. Well, sort of. Let's talk about the most quietly important vegetable in your entire kitchen. Onions. I know, not glamorous. Nobody posts pictures of onions on social media. Nobody brags about their onion harvest at dinner parties. Onions are the background singer, the stage crew, the unsung, unnoticed, absolutely essential foundation that holds everything together. Try this experiment. Cook dinner tonight without any onion. No onion in the sauce, no onion in the soup, no onion in the stir-fry. I guarantee the food will taste like it's missing something, because onions bring depth, they bring warmth, they bring that savory richness that ties a meal together. And March is when you need to act. The easiest way to grow onions at home, especially if you're newer to gardening, is to use onion sets. An onion set is a tiny baby onion, about the size of a marble, that somebody else already started for you. All you have to do is tuck it into the soil with the pointy end facing up, just barely poking out of the surface. That's it. The onion handles the rest. But here's where timing matters. You want to plant your onion sets toward the tail end of March, not too early. Here's why. If onions experience a long stretch of cold weather after being planted, they sometimes panic. They think winter is coming back. And when onions panic, they do something called bolting. Bolting means the plant throws up a tall flower stalk instead of putting its energy into growing a big round bulb. And once an onion bolts, that bulb stays small. Game over. So late March is the sweet spot. The soil has warmed up just enough, the worst cold snaps are usually behind you, the onion settles in and focuses on doing what onions do best, growing fat and flavorful underground. Space your sets about 4 inches apart in rows roughly 10 inches apart. Water them in, and then, honestly, leave them alone. Onions are independent. They don't need much fussing. They just quietly swell beneath the soil all spring and summer. By July or August, you'll pull them from the earth, lay them out in the sun to dry and cure, and then store them somewhere cool. Properly cured homegrown onions can last you months. Months! That's free food sitting in your pantry, grown by your own hands with a flavor that store-bought onions simply cannot match. And here's a bonus. When you grow your own, you get to pick the variety. Red ones, white ones, golden ones, sweet ones that are so mild you can bite into them raw, sharp ones that bring tears to your eyes but make the most incredible French onion soup. The grocery store gives you 2 choices. Your garden gives you the whole world. Let's stay underground for this next one, but we're going bigger, much bigger. Potatoes. Think about this for a second. Potatoes literally shaped history. Entire civilizations rose and fell because of this one crop. Wars were fought over it. Countries were built on it. And today, it remains one of the most important foods on Earth. And you can grow them in a bucket on your patio. Here's what makes potatoes different from everything else on this list. You don't grow them from seeds. You grow them from seed potatoes, which are just small potatoes or pieces of potato that have little bumps on the surface called eyes. Each eye is a starting point, a door. Behind every eye, there's a whole new potato plant waiting to burst out. March is your month. Here's the plan. Before you plant anything, you're going to do something called chitting. Don't let the word intimidate you. Chitting is the simplest thing in the world. You take your seed potatoes, stand them upright in an egg carton or a shallow box, and put them somewhere bright and cool. A windowsill is perfect. Not in the dark, not in the oven, just a nice bright spot where they can see daylight. Then you wait. Over the next few weeks, something incredible happens. Short, stubby sprouts emerge from those eyes. Green ones, purple ones, sometimes both. These sprouts are the potato waking up, stretching, getting ready. By the time you plant a chitted potato, it already has a head start. It's like the difference between starting a race from a dead stop versus starting with a running start. The chitted potato hits the ground already moving. When you're ready to plant, you've got options. Option 1, plant directly in the ground. Dig a trench about 5 or 6 inches deep. Place your chitted potatoes in with the sprouts pointing toward the sky. Cover them with soil and wait. As green shoots appear above the surface, keep mounding soil around them. This is called earthing up. Every time you pile more soil around the stems, the plant produces more potatoes underground. More mounding, more potatoes. Simple as that. Option 2, grow them in containers. This is honestly one of my favorite things in all of gardening. Grab a large pot, a thick grow bag, even an old heavy-duty shopping bag with some drainage holes punched in the bottom. Put a layer of compost in the bottom, place your potato on it with sprouts facing up, and cover with more compost. As the plant grows taller, keep adding layers. You're basically building a potato apartment building. Come harvest time, the moment of truth is absolutely magical. You dump the container out, and potatoes come tumbling out of the soil like buried treasure. Kids absolutely lose their minds over this. Adults do too, honestly. Now, here's something worth knowing. There are hundreds of potato varieties out there, heritage varieties with incredible flavor and fascinating histories. But not all of them are easy to find commercially. Seed regulations in various countries mean that some older varieties don't appear in catalogs because they haven't been officially registered. This worries a lot of growers. When varieties disappear from the market, they can disappear entirely, and once they're gone, they're gone. So if you find interesting, unusual seed potatoes this spring, grab them, grow them, and save a few for next year. You might be keeping a piece of food history alive. We've saved the best for last, the one crop that turns beginners into lifelong gardeners, the one that makes people build greenhouses they never planned on building, the one that ruins store-bought produce for you forever. Because once you've tasted the real thing, nothing else comes close. Tomatoes. Here's what you need to understand. Tomatoes despise cold weather. A frost will destroy them overnight. So planting them outside in March would be a disaster in most climates. But starting them indoors in March, that's not just smart, it's essential. The formula is simple. Count backwards 6 to 8 weeks from your last frost date. For many growers, that calculation lands right here, right now, right in the middle of March. This is your window. Miss it, and your tomatoes will be playing catch-up all season long. They'll fruit late. They'll produce less. You'll spend the whole summer watching and waiting while everyone else is already making fresh salsa. Here's how to nail it. Take a small container. Seed trays work great, but even a plastic cup with a hole in the bottom will do the job. Fill it with potting mix, and here's a detail that makes a real difference. Sift your mix first. Run it through a kitchen strainer to remove the big chunky pieces. What you're left with is this gorgeous, fine, fluffy growing medium that tiny tomato seeds absolutely love. It's like giving them a feather bed instead of a pile of rocks. Place your seeds on the surface. Cover them with the thinnest layer of sifted mix, maybe a 1/4 inch. Then water gently. Gently, like morning mist, not a thunderstorm. Now here's the key that unlocks everything. Heat. Tomato seeds need warmth to germinate. The seed is dormant, sleeping deeply, and warmth is the thing that whispers, "Hey, it's time to wake up." Without warmth, seeds sit in the soil doing absolutely nothing. With warmth, they crack open in 7 to 10 days and send a tiny shoot reaching toward the light. Put your tray on top of the refrigerator, near a radiator, or on a seedling heat mat if you have one. The ideal soil temperature is somewhere around 70 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Get that right, and germination is almost guaranteed. Once the seedlings emerge, light becomes your priority. A south-facing window works. A simple grow light works better. Rotate the tray every day so the seedlings grow straight instead of leaning sideways, chasing the sun like a dog chasing a squirrel. 6 to 8 weeks of indoor nurturing, and you'll have thick-stemmed, deep green, healthy tomato transplants ready for the great outdoors. Plants that you grew from a seed the size of a sesame grain. When you step back and think about that, it's genuinely mind-blowing. Now, one more thing about tomatoes, and this one sits close to my heart. There are thousands of tomato varieties in the world. Huge beefsteaks the size of your fist, tiny cherry tomatoes that burst like flavor bombs, purple ones, yellow ones, striped ones that look like they were painted by an artist, green ones that taste like tropical fruit. Many of these are heirloom varieties, passed down through families and communities for generations, sometimes for centuries. And here's what concerns a lot of gardeners. As commercial agriculture focuses on fewer and fewer varieties, the old ones fade away. Seed regulations in some regions make it harder for small companies to sell unregistered varieties, and slowly, quietly, some of these irreplaceable heirlooms drift toward extinction. Growing heirloom tomatoes at home isn't just gardening, it's preservation. When you save seeds from your best fruit at the end of the season and replant them next year, you're keeping a living piece of history alive. You're part of a chain that stretches back generations. That matters. It matters more than most people realize. Okay, let me slow down for a moment. Take a breath. I want you to picture something. It's a warm evening in late July. You step outside. The golden light is falling sideways through the garden. You reach into the leaves of your tomato plant and pull off a fruit that's still warm from the sun. You pick a handful of peas and eat them right there, standing in the dirt, barefoot maybe. There are onions curing in the shed, potatoes waiting underground like buried treasure. And sitting in a bowl on the kitchen counter is a weird, wonderful kohlrabi that you grew from a seed the size of a crumb. You did that. Nobody did it for you. No factory, no shipping truck, no plastic packaging. Just you and the soil and a little patience. That feeling, that deep, quiet, powerful feeling of providing for yourself and the people you love, is something that never gets old. It never fades. Every gardener I've ever met remembers their first real harvest, not because the food was perfect, but because it was theirs. And it all starts here. It all starts in March, with a seed, with a decision, with one small act of faith that says, I'm going to put this tiny thing in the ground and trust that something incredible will happen. Because it will. It always does. All right, friend. Tell me in the comments, which one of these 5 are you starting first? The alien-looking kohlrabi, the sweet and mighty pea, the humble onion, the historic potato, or the legendary tomato? I want to know. Drop your answer below. If this video gave you even one useful idea, hit hit that like button. It costs you nothing, but it helps this video reach more people who are ready to start growing their own food. And if you're not subscribed yet, come on, join us. We do this every week. Real growing advice. No fluff, no nonsense, just dirt, seeds, and the honest joy of watching things come alive. Hit subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you in the next one. Now, go find some seeds and get started. March is slipping away. Happy growing!